All right, so now everybody should be on you should be on page 157. We are looking at psychoactive drugs. So, psychoactive drugs are chemical substances that alter perceptions, moods, or behaviors. So this is in this chapter because, again, this chapter is looking at consciousness. And so these medications definitely affect your level of conscious awareness. And these type of medications some of them can create what's called a dependence, a state of physiological or psychological need, or maybe a combination of both, to take more of the drug after continuing to use. So you may become dependent upon that drug. So it might be psychological, where you have this craving for the medication, or it might be a physical dependence. So after you've if you are addicted to the drug and you don't have the drug, you actually physically hurt. This always makes me think of To Kill a Mockingbird, when Boo Radley has to, not Boo Radley, the little kid, what's the little kid's name, has to sit with the lady who's addicted to morphine, and she's coming off of her morphine addiction, and she's having all kinds of physical withdrawal symptoms, and she's foaming at the mouth and things like that. So that brings us to our next definition. If you flip the page to 158, and the definition, withdrawal is discomfort, discomfort and distress that follow when a person who is dependent on a drug discontinues the use of that drug. So again, these withdrawal symptoms can be both physiological or psychological. So it can be sort of that emotional distress, or it can be some kind of physical symptom. Tolerance is reduced responsiveness to a drug, prompting the user to take larger doses to achieve the same pleasurable effects previously attained by smaller doses. So the first time you take a drug, you might get a certain effect, but then if the longer you take it, you may need more of that drug to get that same effect that you got the first time that you took the drug. And so this is what can lead to a person becoming dependent on that drug. And so if you look at the picture on the slide, you can look at how drugs work on a neuronal level. So obviously you remember back from the chapter on the brain, we have neurons, and neurons work by triggering the release of neurotransmitters into the synapse. And you can see that image right there. That's the end of one neuron meeting the beginning, the dendrites of a receiving neuron, and that space in between is called the synapse. And so this is how the central nervous system works. And again, those neurotransmitters are those little chemical communicators that the central nervous system uses to communicate. So the neuron releases those neurotransmitters into the synapse, that space between the two neurons, the sending neuron and the receiving neuron. And so these different psychoactive drugs will either work to cause more of these neurotransmitters being transmitted in your body, or it'll cause them to be blocked. It'll cause them to not be stimulated, not to be transmitted. And so that's how they work. Now, the video clip, watch the video clip down at the bottom. This is just looking at problems with dependence.